Good evening. I'm Willard Cheng, sitting in for Pinky Web. Tonight, we ask the questions, we tackle the issues, we clarify matters, and we get on point. Before our guests, let's get an update on the Senate proceedings from Abante Radyo's Dexter Ganibe. Dexter, anong latest sa hiling ng minority na mag-convene na sila bilang impeachment court?
Willard, mag-iisang oras na buhat ng, mahigit isang oras na buhat ng mag-suspend ng sesyon ang Senado kaninang 6:30 matapos yung talumpati ni Senate President Cignal. Pero hindi pa nakakabalik sa sesyon ang Senado sa ngayon. Nasa 14 na senador kanina yung naiwan sa session hall at nag-usap-usap sila kaugnay ng mga nakabinding motion ni Senador Coco Pimentel na mag-convene na ang Senado bilang impeachment court. Kanina, dahil tayo ay nakaupo dito sa may gallery, dinig natin yung usapan ng mga senador habang sila ay nagko-focus na habang nakasuspend ang sesyon at pinag-uusapan yung issue nga na nakahain sa kanila, yung motion. May mga nagsabing pwede nang gawin ngayon ang panunumpa ng mga senador bilang senator judges at bukas na yung pagko-convene. Lumalabas din na may mga senador na sumang-ayon sa pagko-convene ng Senado as impeachment court. Ang hindi lang malinaw kung ngayong gabi o bukas na ang pagko-convene. Pero malinaw ang napagkasundo nila ay mag-convene sila ng mas maaga dun sa June 11 na unang itinakda. At may mga nakuha na tayong mga pangalan, Willard, dun sa mga possible na most likely na bumoto na mag-convene earlier than June 11 ang Senate bilang isang impeachment court. Kabilang dyan sina Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, si Senator Risa Ontiveros, Senator G.V. Ejercito, Senator Coco Pimentel, si Majority Leader Senator Tol Tolentino, si Senate President Chis Escudero, maging si Senator Joel Villanueva, si Mig Zubiri, si Senator Raffy Tulfo, si Senate President Pro Tempore Jinggoy Estrada at si Senator Grace Poe. Pero yan, Jinggoy, yung mga pangalan na yan, yung 12 na pangalan na ating nabanggit, yan ay malalaman natin kung boboto nga sila mamaya-maya pag nag-resume na itong session anytime now. Nakabalik na dito sa loob ng session hall. Ito, Senator Jinggoy, si Senator Bato de la Rosa, maging si Senator Robin Padilla nandiyan na rin, si Senator JB, si Mark Villar, si Majority Leader Tolentino, si Minority Leader Coco Pimentel kasama si Risa Ontiveros, maging si Senator Joel Villanueva at si Senate President Chis Escudero. Pero kanina medyo mainit yung mga usapan. Habang sila ay nagko-focus doon sa pinaka-plenaryo ng sa Senado, habang sila ay naka-suspend yung sesyon, itong si Senator Robin kanina, talagang medyo malakas yung boses niya na naririnig natin na talagang hindi ako papayag dyan, tututol ako dyan. Yun ang binabanggit niya kanina habang nag-uusap yung karamihan ng mga senador na tumatanguna at mukhang nagkakasundo na kung ano yung kanilang iboboto. Kasama nila si Senator Coco Pimentel na siyang proponent ng motion para ipagbotohan na nga itong pagko-convene ng Senado. Kanina narinig din si Senator Amy Marcos, nakausap itong si Senator Cynthia Villar. Ang binanggit ni Senator Marcos kay Cynthia Villar na medyo naiinis siya dahil marami na ang nagbago ang isip. Maaring may kinalaman dyan dun sa mga kakampi niya na maaring boboto na pabor doon sa pagko-convene na mas maaga doon sa June 11. Alam naman natin, si Senator Robin Padilla, Senator Amy at Senator Bato ay may mga resolusyon na inihanda, draft resolution para ipabasura ang impeachment case ni VP Sara. Willard?
So Dexter, kung nag-materialize yung nabanggit mo kanina na 12 pangalan at sila ay talagang bumoto in favor of this motion na mag-convene ang impeachment court, sapat na itong bilang na ito para matuloy ang pagko-convene, no?
Oo, kung yan ay malalaman natin mamaya, kung yung 12 na yan, may quorum. Ibig sabihin na may majority. Dahil 23 na senador, yung 12 ay majority na yon.
Okay.
Na bilang. Oo.
Alright, maraming salamat sa
Pero
iyo.
malalaman natin yan, Willard, mamaya ha, pag nag-resume na. Ito, more than an hour na. Hindi ko alam kung anong oras. Naghihintayan pa siguro dahil yung iba ay wala pa dito sa session hall. Hinihintay natin na magbabaan galing sa kanilang office matapos yung pansamantalang suspension kanina dahil nagkaroon sila siguro maari ng dinner break. Ito ang ating mga senador. Willard?
Maraming salamat sa iyo. Dexter Ganibe, reporting from the Senate. The Senate is awaiting the House-approved bill on the 200 peso wage hike so the bicameral conference committee can convene and also tackle their own version of the bill. Some senators suggest that the BICAM adopt the Senate version of a 100 peso wage increase as it is less likely to be vetoed by President Bongbong Marcos. Malacañang says the interests of workers and the business sector must be balanced. Let's get on point with the Employers Confederation of the Philippines, or ECOP President Sergio Ortiz-Luis. He's joining us via Zoom. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Willard. Good evening to our those who are watching us tonight.
Sir, your group's position po on this proposed wage hike of 200 pesos coming from the House, sir.
Well, I think we have to make it clear that we are not the only ones objecting there because we have about 52 million in the labor market. No? 52 million, which includes those who are in the formal sector, which is about where 10% of that is a minimum wage earner. But the 90% basically are not covered by this increase, no? And who are they? They're the farmers, Mr. Fox, market vendors, jeepney drivers, tricycle drivers, and a lot. Family small business, they are not covered by this increase. And that is awkward because every year we keep on addressing the issue of the minimum wage earners and leaving behind the 90%, the super majority of the population. The other irony is in the 10% that is qualified to, that under the auspices of the Department of Labor and other agencies, government agencies that have employers, 90% of that are micro industries. 8% is small, 1% is medium, and less than 1% are the large corporation. So you will notice that the medium and large, perhaps they can afford this. Some of the ones in the small industries can afford it. But the micro, 90%, and where most of the workers, 60% of the workers are in the micro, they are the ones who are affected. You know, these micro enterprises couldn't even pay 30-month pay. They have problems with that. And they even have a problem of meeting the payrolls every week or every month, no? And you are going to put that big increase, and so what will happen? Those who can afford to hike their prices, they will hike their prices, which is inflationary. Those who cannot, they'll probably cut down on their workers. And if you cannot do any of the two things, you just close down. That's the story of the micro industries in the Philippines. They open, they close, some other entrepreneurs come in, and that is how it is. So we established a system on the Regional Wage Board several years ago. And that was the time that they were claiming an 120 pesos increase. But after a few years, several years ago when that was established, we had the lowest minimum wage in the region. Now, with the little increases, 30 pesos, 40 pesos, 50 pesos, 60 pesos a year that they give to each region, we are now the highest in the region. And that is, the problem is For the 90%, let's forget about the formal sector, where 90% is the one that will be that will suffer, or because they cannot afford this big increase. Let's go now to the informal sector. Every year they're left behind. How much are the farmers earning? And if there is inflation, they will be left behind again. Good thing for the uh, good thing for the others worker, yung mga nasa formal sector, they have the regular work. Every year they are adjusted whether they work well or not. That is why productivity in the Philippines is low, because they don't. It's always uh, intervening. Even the wage board is the one giving increases every year. You don't have to work well, and you will be entitled to it, leaving the super majority of the workers behind. And why are we doing this? We established the regional wage board is not a perfect system, but it is Jesus to the objective decision. They are composed by the workers, the employers, DTI, DOLE, and NEDA. And every year they do this. Every year they look at the data and they compare it. Even that is why the president, when they were asking him to make this bill before the election, no, endorse it, he did not. Instead, during the Labor Day celebration, he said, I will ask the Regional Wage Board to convene early so that they can tackle this, so that come anniversary date of the last wage increase last year, we can now come up with another increase. And we hope that this will be a balanced one. And that is what, because all these economists, all his cabinet members are saying that. And why are we going to take, now they pass the ball to the president to make a decision on this. It's like, the president already made this stand, and yet they passed the bill. They put the president in a very compromising position, because either he lets it go if it is passed by the conference committee of the BICAM, or he vetoes it, and that is why they're even saying that the 200 pesos will be vetoed, but maybe 100 will not be vetoed, because they know that all the economic advisors of the president are saying that. And the worst thing is, with all our problems, getting investment, you add this. One of the complaint of potential investors to the Philippines is that we have erratic policies. You don't know. You come to the country, there is a system where they increase wages, and all of a sudden you're hit with a 30%, 40% wage increase on your workers. So what do? You're choosing between Thailand,
Yeah.
Vietnam, Malaysia.
But as far as the minimum wage earners are concerned, how much should they get, sir, for you po?
Well, I do not want to blame this regional wage board, because they're the ones who should be doing this. And many times we are not happy with the increase that they give, but because this is it passed the process, the right process, we feel we support it. We do not want legislated, because it becomes very political, and sometimes, many times, emotional. And that is why we are saying we are representing only many of the big formal sector. We're not representing the farmers, we're not representing but who is speaking for them? They are the ones who will suffer because of this, but they seem to be ignored. They say this will be good for the workers. Which worker? A minority. who
Sir,
is getting every year.
yeah. The palace has also said that it will consider all concerns of all stakeholders as it considers the economic implications of these proposed wage hike, both in the House and Senate. Has anyone from the executive branch reached out to you or sought to hear out your concerns?
Yes, we had meeting with them as well as a meeting with Congress, and their position is very clear. As I said, NEDA, DTI, DOLE are all represented in the wage board, and they're the ones who come up with balancing this thing every year. Sometimes there's no even application, and they do it motu proprio. Every year there are increases.
So, sir, between the 100 peso proposal wage hike ng Senado at ng 200 peso wage hike naman ng Kamara, saan po kayo lulugar doon, sir?
I do not want to preempt the ano. I just want to we're represented in the wage board, and we will have our position there. The labor will have their position there. The government will be the one to balance it.
All right. Thank you very much. Employers Confederation of the Philippines or ECOP President Sergio Ortiz-Luis for your time.
Thank you also.
We'll take a short break. Up next, I'll speak with the National Wages and Productivity Commission Executive Director Criselda C. Stay tuned. This is On Point. You're watching On Point, and we're still discussing the proposed legislated wage hike. Joining us now on the phone is the National Wages and Productivity Commission Executive Director Criselda C. Good evening, ma'am.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, the business community is opposing the 200 peso proposed wage hike coming from the House of Representatives. Can you tell us exactly the impact that such wage hike will bring to the economy?
Well, the DepDev has actually came out with a computed potential impact of the legislated wage hike, and based on their analysis, it would increase the joblessness or unemployment for about 300,000. And the GDP growth would go down by probably about 1 percentage point together with the inflation rate.
Given these, ma'am, what do you think is the ideal wage for an average Filipino family?
It's not for me to say it because it's the function of the Regional Tripartite Wages and Productivity Board. We provide them with technical inputs, and they are the ones that identify or come up with the appropriate amount for a particular region.
Having said that, are legislated wage hikes better than going through the wage boards?
The minimum wage function of the regional board is a delegated authority from the Congress. There was a decision way back in 1989 to regionalize the minimum wage fixing in consideration of the differences in socioeconomic conditions in the regions. That's why the Congress made the decision to delegate that authority to the regional boards.
Nung dinidiscuss ho ba ng Senate and House itong mga proposed wage hikes, nakonsulta rin ho ba kayo doon sa mga committee hearings nila?
Yes, in fact, we submitted our technical inputs to both houses last year, and we also actively participated during the technical hearings.
And what were those inputs, ma'am?
Well, apart from what I mentioned a while back, some of the potential impact of a substantial increase in minimum wage would result to, for example, potential weakening of our labor market institutions. So with that, there is a possibility that there's going to be substantial non-compliance to the existing labor standards, and then increase in informality, and also weakening of our collective bargaining agreements at the firm level. So those are some of the labor market institutions that would potentially be negatively impacted if the Congress would substantially increase the minimum wage.
Pero at this stage, ma'am, na mukhang aabot na po sa BICAM yung proseso, meron pa ho bang magagawa ang inyong organization or ang inyong ahensya para po maibigay pa po ang mga inputs na ito at mabigyang diin?
Ang Department of Labor and Employment po ay an executive branch of the government, and our role is really to execute whatever laws our Congress would enact. So we just have to wait probably for the result of the bicameral committee meeting and the final decision of the Congress about it.
Given what you said, ma'am, what else should be done to help the plight of our workers? Kung hindi po, kumbaga, kung mabigat po ang epekto ng ganitong substantial increase sa kanilang wages.
Yun po ang pagtatakda ng minimum wage is it's a form of social protection for our vulnerable workers doon po sa ating mga unskilled workers. But at the firm level, the management and the workers can actually engage themselves and come up with some bipartite mechanism that could better improve the working conditions of our workers. So we encourage that at the bipartite level they do that rather than a one-size-fits-all wage increase. So yun po ang position natin. That's why one of the concerns is really to advocate for collective bargaining at the firm level. And on top of that, the government naman po is implementing a lot of social protection mechanism for our vulnerable population. So meron po tayong mga incentives na binibigay or ayuda sa mga mahihirap. So yun po yung collectively are the social protection mechanisms provided by the government. Aside, of course, from the fact that we provide free education from elementary to tertiary level. So the main concern is to educate our population to make them more employable so that they can for themselves bargain for better terms and conditions when they decide to enter the labor market.
All right. Thank you very much po for your time, National Wages and Productivity Commission Executive Director Criselda C.
Salamat po sa pagkakataon.
And that's On Point. Join us again tomorrow, Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. here on BNC, the Billionario News Channel. I'm Willard Cheng. Thank you for watching.